Hey guys, YouTube Overtender here. Alright, and now here I am to now start to talk about the Shrek sequels. Now first things first. You may notice that in this title of this video, it says that I'm only giving my thoughts on Shrek's 2 and 3. Now, why am I only talking about these two films in this video? Well, originally, I was just gonna make a video to actually talk about, all three Shrek sequels, but then I completely forgot about, there was the Puss in Boots spin-off movie from, 2011, and yeah, like I said before, I also, whenever I come to a film that has any sequels, or, I also, talk about, any sort of spin-off films, like I did with Madagascar. I talked about, the Penguins of Madagascar spin-off movie. So, yeah, of course, I gotta stay true to my word, and I gotta also talk about the Puss in Boots movie. So, it's basically, four movies that I would have to cover, and I only have, a limited amount of time to film the videos that I do on this phone. So, yeah, I do, talking about, four movies like that in a limited amount of time, that would be kind of a challenge. So what I've decided to do is I'm just gonna, I'm gonna make two separate videos to give my thoughts on the other Shrek movies, and I'm gonna do it for two for each video. So yeah, in this video I'm gonna talk about Shrek's 2 and 3, and then in my next video I will talk about Shrek's 4 and the Puss in Boots movie. Alright, so that's how I'm gonna do this by finishing off these DreamWorks videos. I'm gonna make two separate videos to talk about the Shrek sequels and the Puss in Boots spin-off movie. Alright, but anyway, so yeah, here I am to give my thoughts on Shrek 2 and Shrek the Third. So, I pretty much have the same look on the Shrek movies, and, well, the sequels, as just about everybody else does, where second one is really good, third film, really not that good, and Shrek 4, I'm just, really mixed on it. I mean, I really don't know whether to give Shrek 4 a thumbs up or a thumbs down, just because, it's so mixed for me, really. But, yeah, Shrek 2, starting off with that, yeah, I really do like Shrek 2 a lot, just like everyone else. I may actually make a full in-depth review of Shrek 2 sometime in the future, because, yeah, just this film really is just so good that I really do actually want to make a full in-depth review on it, so I may do another video to give a full in-depth review of Shrek 2 in the future. So yeah, Shrek 2 is definitely a really good movie, and yeah, this is definitely a worthy sequel to the first film. I'm not really sure if I really can say that this is actually better than the first film. I mean, yeah, people are really been debating over the first two Shreks about which one is better. I don't know. I think that the first Shrek may actually be a little bit more watchable, but I think this one definitely does have a lot more humor to it. I think this one is definitely funnier than the first Shrek is. And, yeah, and this one definitely does have, a larger cast than the first film did. I mean, you have Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz returning for this film, but you also have, a bunch of other stars in this film also. You have, stars like Antonio Banderas, Julie Andrews, John Cleese, Rupert Everett, and Jennifer Saunders all joining the cast. So, yeah, this film, is just, full of stars, really. They're going back to that route in the DreamWorks films. And, yeah, we have, new characters like Fiona's parents, the king and queen. We have Puss in Boots, have Prince Charming, and the fairy godmother. And, yeah, we also do have, the fairy tale creatures, return from the first one. We have the Big Bad Wolf, Pinocchio, Gingerbread Man, Three Little Pigs, Three Blind Mice. Yeah, just, all those characters returning. And, yeah, they have, a bigger role in this one than they do in the first one. And, yeah, the characters really are just so great and memorable in this film, and yeah, the story for this really is really good. This pretty much is in a way kind of a continuation from the first Shrek. This is basically sort of about Shrek and Fiona now having to like settle in with their new lives and stuff. Like Shrek and Fiona are, well, it's mainly Shrek really. They're like adapting to like the changes in their lives now, and yeah, Fiona's parents are now adapting to their changes too, since now Fiona is an ogre, and yeah, she married Shrek. And yeah, the villains in this film are like Prince Charming and the fairy godmother, which is actually Prince Charming's mother. And yeah, apparently like Prince Charming was actually supposed to rescue Princess Fiona, and he was supposed to marry Princess Fiona, but instead, yeah, we of course like had what happened with Shrek saving her and rescuing her and like her marrying them. And so basically in this film, like Prince Charming and the Fairy Godmother are basically just trying to get rid of Shrek and get Princess Fiona to be with Prince Charming. And yeah, I it's funny how like this when this film starts off, it basically starts off exactly the same way as the first film did, where we have like the storybook. And yeah, the story at the beginning of this film told in the book was basically about like Princess Fiona's backstory about the spell she was under and her parents locking her up in the tower and stuff. And yeah, Prince Charming then like was narrating that full thing, and yeah, when he arrived at the tower, it showed that the wolf was there instead. And yeah, and then like as Princess Fiona and Shrek are returning from their honeymoon, then like they get summoned to uh, appear at a royal ball, basically for Fiona to return home to a town far, far away, which I thought was funny. It was actually called Far, Far Away. Yeah, and as they go, then the like everyone in Far Far Away, including like Fiona's parents, who are like the king and queen, Harold and Lillian, they like see what happened with Fiona. And Fiona's mother, like she's like more accepting and understanding that Shrek is an ogre and Fiona ended up with him. But yeah, the Harold, well, the king, he really was like really not in acceptance with it, and he really didn't like it at all. And then yeah, the fairy godmother eventually ended up confronting Harold about what happened with Prince Charming, and yeah, fairy godmother and Prince Charming were basically just telling Harold that he needs to get rid of Shrek somehow. Oh yeah, and then yeah, eventually Harold then ends up like hiring like an assassin to get rid of Shrek, which ended up like being Puss in Boots. And as Shrek and Donkey at one point were like hunting down in the woods, like from like a fake offer from Harold, then like they ran into Puss in Boots in the forest, and like Puss in Boots then started to attack Shrek. But then eventually like as like Puss was coughing up a hairball, then Shrek and Donkey got a hold of him, and then as they were like about to really teach Puss a lesson, Puss then just explained to them that he was paid by the king to do it. Yeah. And then yeah, they eventually ended up paying a visit to the fairy godmother after like Puss made amends with them, and of course like Puss in Boots like and like making like his famous like innocent face. Yep. Yeah. And eventually, like Shrek, Donkey, and Puss end up like stealing a potion from Fairy Godmother's potion factory, and yeah, the potion was like named Happily Ever After, and yeah, and because of like all of that, like there was like a lot of tension between Shrek and Fiona because just like Shrek really didn't want to be there, and just yeah, Fiona just like really didn't like the way Shrek was behaving along with her father. And so yeah, Shrek just felt that this potion would actually restore like the love that he felt that Fiona was actually losing for him. And then like Shrek and Donkey ended up like both drinking the potion, but at first nothing happened. And then, you know, yeah, but then later on, like during the night, they ended up like passing out, and then they ended up like transforming into like beauties or whatever. Yeah, it showed like Shrek was like to become a handsome man, and Donkey was basically like a white stallion now. And yeah, it was said that the potion, like in order to make that happily ever after permanent, they have to kiss at midnight and stuff. Yeah, and it showed that Fiona was also like restored to her human form as well. You know, yeah. And once Shrek like arrived at the back at the castle to try to to like reunite with Fiona. Like the fairy godmother ended up like locking Shrek in Fiona's room or something, and yeah, Fiona then like ran into Charming, who like was like start trying to be Shrek. Really, he was basically like posing as Shrek himself, yeah. And yeah, the fairy godmother basically was just like manipulating Shrek, and to really just like make the way to make Fiona happy would be to let her go, and then yeah, Shrek then just ended up like leaving. And, yeah, and later on, like the fairy godmother was just like telling Harold that in order to really make Princess Fiona like really fall in love with Charming, she like told Harold that he has to give Fiona a love potion, and he like slipped it into a cup of tea for Fiona, and yeah, then like Harold and Fiona end up drinking tea. Like that's if Fiona reached for one cup, like Harold ended up grabbing that, like making like an excuse on why he needed to drink that and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But then eventually, like Shrek, Donkey, and Puss end up like being caught after like a conversation with Harold, the fairy godmother, Prince Charming, and they end up being arrested. And then like the fairy tale creatures all like saw like what was going on, and then they ended up like freeing Shrek, Donkey, and Puss from their imprisonment and stuff. And then yeah, they ended up then like arriving at that royal ball, and then that's when Fiona then realized that he was Shrek really was like really Shrek once Shrek arrived. Yeah. Yeah, and then then Prince Charming then tried to kiss Fiona and like make that potion work, but then yeah, Fiona then just ended up headbutting Prince Charming, and it was revealed that like Fiona had drinking like the wrong tea. Yeah, it's never actually like touched upon if it was like a legit accident or if Harold really like made Fiona not drink the tea with the potion in it. Yeah, it's never actually revealed whether it was like blatant or not. Yeah. But then yeah, the fairy godmother then like just like enraged about it, then like cast used her wand to like cast something at Shrek, but then like Harold jumped in the way and like saved Shrek, and the armor that Harold was wearing like ended up like reflecting the spell or something, and it hit the fairy godmother, and then she just turned into bubbles and disintegrated. And then it was shown that Harold had transformed into a frog, and apparently like this was like his old form because like apparently like the fairy godmother had transformed Harold into a human or something, or he used the potion before. Yeah. But then yeah, as the clock struck midnight, then like as Shrek was telling Fiona that if she wanted to stay like that, they would all they had to do was kiss. But then yeah, Fiona said that she wanted to be happy with the ogre that she married, and then yeah, Shrek, Fiona, and Donkey then were all like risen magically in the air, and then yeah, they all then transformed back to their ogre forms, and Donkey turned back into a donkey. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, Harold, like, as he showed he was transformed into a frog, he, like, apologized for everything and gave his blessing and stuff, yeah. And then, yeah, then, like, after Shrek and Fiona then did kiss, then, like, they continued on with the party and stuff with Donkey and Puss singing Livin' La Vida Loca. Yeah. Yeah. And then the film then, like, ended up cutting to credits, but then, like, in a mid-credit scene, it showed then, like, sometime, like, after the ball, then like Dragon then arrived with Donkey, and then it was shown that like they now had babies, were like Donkey and Dragon hybrid babies and stuff. So yeah, it was a pretty funny moment. So yeah, second film I really do like it a lot. Like the second film definitely is like a worthy follow-up to the first film, a really good sequel, and yeah, it definitely does I say have a lot of like better humor than the first film does. So yeah, second film was definitely like a really good film. The third film, on the other hand, oh gosh, I really was never a fan of the third film. I mean, I saw it in the theaters and I really didn't like care for it very much. I mean, I really don't think it's a horrible film, but I mean, when you compare it to the first two Shrek, I mean, you can see like it is like a real serious downgrade. And I mean, this film just really wasn't nearly as good, and I really don't think it was a very good film at all, really. I mean, just like it's just really not that funny. I mean, the jokes really don't work a lot, and there's just like seems like there's so much going on here, and just I really feel that the plot for this just it really isn't very good. I mean, I guess it does like sort of like in a way does continue the story once again from the second film, but at the same time, like it just really isn't executed very well. I mean, the third film, Shrek the Third, gosh, I mean, this was just like a really serious downgrade. I mean, I really wasn't a fan, haven't been a fan of this film, and I think that this one is definitely like the worst of the Shrek films. Just, uh, this just really wasn't very good, especially when you compare it to the first two films. I mean, oh gosh, I mean, I just don't know what they were trying to do with this, but this is definitely like a film that you can really skip because yeah, this just really doesn't have anything that really makes this film a must-watch like the first two Shreks. Yeah, I mean, basically in this film, like, there's a lot going on in here. Like, really, like, this film like does have like pretty much the same amount of characters return. Like, it pretty much does have all the recurring characters back from the second film. And yeah, everybody reprising their roles, along with like this new character, Artie, who's played by Justin Timberlake, and it's like Fiona's cousin, and he's like an heir to the king's throne and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, basically in this film, like once like Fiona's father ends up dying, and yeah, he tells Shrek that now that he's dying, like Shrek and Fiona are up to be like the king and queen, but Shrek really like didn't want to be the king. So then like Harold like on his before he died, he told Shrek that there's another heir to the throne, which is his nephew, Arthur Pendragon. And yeah. And so then in this film, like Shrek, Donkey, and Puss let's like venture out to find Arthur and bring him back to Far, Far Away to be the king. And while all that's going on, like there's this other subplot with like Prince Charming, like he's out for revenge for what happened to his mother and stuff. And so then like Prince Charming is trying to like assume the throne and take over as king of Far, Far Away. Hey and stuff. And yeah, throughout this film, like as Shrek, Donkey, and Puss are out to find Artie and bring him back. Like Prince Charming is just assuming the throne. He's taking control. Like he's locking up the women, and he's like holding the fairy tale creatures. Like he's just putting them in displays and stuff. And yeah, he's just like basically trying to take over the Far, Far Away and just make it his own kingdom and stuff. He's basically acting as Lord Farquaad, really. And yeah, there's also another subplot in this film where like Fiona ends up getting pregnant, and yeah, Shrek is like really skeptical about being a father. He's just really nervous about becoming a father, and he has like these like thoughts on like how much of a hassle and how much of a trouble it could be to be a father. He has like this dream where like he returns back home and there's like a whole bunch of babies there for him to take care of and stuff. And so yeah, Shrek. Yeah, it's basically like the story you've seen before, where there's a future father who's really worried about becoming a father, or because of like all the trouble it could be and stuff. So yeah, there's just that, and yeah, and they eventually Shrek, Donkey, and Puss eventually end up finding Arthur at like this school, and Arthur really is just like a real 16-year-old geek who's picked on by basically everyone. And then, yeah, they eventually do recruit Arthur and start bringing him back to Far, Far Away. But, yeah, Arthur was then, like, kind of, like, nervous about all the responsibilities he would have as king. And, yeah, he, like, was trying to, like, really turn back and stuff, yeah. Yeah, and eventually, like, Prince Charming discovered what Shrek was trying to do. And then, yeah, Prince Charming, like, ends up basically recruiting, like, all the fairy tale villains to really help him create an army to take over Far, Far Away. And basically, like, lock up, like, all the of women, like Snow White and Rapunzel, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Doris, the stepsister, who's actually voiced by Larry King. I forgot to say that before. Along with like Fiona and her mother. And at the same time, like he ends up like doing a bunch of stuff with the fairy tale creatures and stuff. Yeah, and and uh, yeah, eventually like Rapunzel ended up like betraying the other ladies, and yeah, she just ended up like saying that she loved Prince Charming and stuff. And eventually like Shrek and the donkey, Puss, and Artie end up like paying a visit to Merlin, and then like after like a lot of the villains like Captain Hook and everyone else like try to like capture Shrek. Shrek and Artie, along with like Puss and Donkey, end up fighting them off. Yeah. And then yeah. And then like Merlin ended up like using his magic to transport like Shrek, Donkey, Puss, and Artie back to far, far away, which he does. But yeah, during the spell, like it made like Puss and Donkey end up like switching bodies and stuff. Yeah. And once they arrived back in far, far away, like they found Pinocchio, and Pinocchio told Shrek that Charming like had plans to kill him and stuff. Yeah. In like a play. Yeah. And then eventually like at one point like once the like Shrek, Donkey, Puss, and Artie were then like trying to confront Charming. Charming then was like about to kill Artie, but then yeah, Shrek then just told Charming that Artie was just a pawn to take his place. And then Charming then just let Artie leave, and then Donkey and Puss ended up like being locked up with Fiona and the other ladies. Yeah. And then like they eventually then broke out after Lillian ended up like smashing an opening in the stone wall with her head. And yeah, the princesses all just banded together to really form an army to fight off Charming and his army and stuff. Yeah. And yeah, there is I guess one funny moment I liked. Well, yeah, throughout this movie there were like a few funny moments, but one that I guess one of my favorites was at one point Snow White was like really at first singing really softly, basically like a Disney style singing with a bunch of birds, and then like a transition into like the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin, and she just had all the birds and animals and stuff charge at the army and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And then yeah, Donkey and Puss ended up like freeing all the fairy tale creatures along with like Donkey's kids and stuff. And And yeah, they eventually like found Artie, and they just told him that Shrek was just lying to Charming to save Artie's life. Yeah. And during that night, like Prince Charming, like in this film, like he like has like a set of plays and stuff, and so yeah, he was like having one of those. And as Charming was just about to like kill like everybody there, then Artie then and like arrived, and he just told everyone that just because they're being treated like losers doesn't mean they have to be. And then the villains then ended up just like giving up their evil ways, is except for Charming. And then yeah, Shrek also like as Charming was about to like go at Artie with his sword, Shrek then ended up like saving Artie once again. And Charming then like supposedly attacked Shrek, and Shrek was like pretending to be hurt, and then he just told Charming that he had to work on his aim, and he needs to keep looking for his own happily ever after. And then Shrek just like pushed Prince Charming aside, and then Dragon ended up like knocking over Rapunzel's tower, which fell right onto Charming, ended up like crushing and killing him. Yeah, and then yeah, Artie then took the crown, and then yeah, he then crowned himself king, and he ended up taking the throne. Well, yeah, and then yeah, eventually like Merlin ended up then restoring Puss and Donkey to their bodies. He's yeah. Yeah, and yeah, but then later on it then like shows then Fiona has like given birth, and Shrek and Fiona like had like baby ogre triplets. It's now. And yeah, just then, just like the film ended with just showing Shrek and Fiona were like taking care of the babies and playing with them and stuff. So, yeah. So really, Shrek the Third, it really isn't like very good. I mean, not a horrible film, but just really a serious downgrade from the first two Shreks. I mean, especially when you compare it to the first two Shreks. Just ugh. So yeah, it just really just doesn't work. It really, and it really is not a must see. So, but yeah, on a whole, so I would definitely like recommend the second film. Like, second film definitely is really good, but the third one just is really like nothing that makes it a must see. Like, third film really is not anything that you really need to see, and I really don't recommend it. And, yeah, this Shrek the Third definitely is a real skippable film, but yeah, second film definitely very good. So yeah, yeah, so that's my take on it. Second film good, third film no. Alright, so yeah, that's all I can really say about them. Alright, so yeah, those are my thoughts on Shrek 2 and Shrek the Third. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say about this. So yeah, and in my next video I will like talk about the other two movies with Shrek Forever After and the Puss in Boots movie. Alright, so stay tuned for those coming up as I do like finish off these DreamWorks movies fully. Alright, but anyway, alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.